Good afternoon and welcome to the FX Daily Wrap-Up with ForexAnalytix. And let me go on and move this out of the way. And lots of times when we cover this, we'll cover the levels that we're looking at, what has transpired, and that's important. We should, but we have some other things that are going on. I mean, along with that, but I'm going to point to the S&Ps, and we never cover the S&Ps on here. But one of the things to point in the chat room. Bear with me. I guess I don't have it here on this chart. I posted it in a chart. But anyway, I was looking at 2863. Let's go and take a look at this on a 30-minute. And so before we got there, I was telling, put in the chat room, I thought that, the market could, try and make a stand at 2863. Well, that's exactly what we went to. I mean, we went down there. We actually went, there's 2863 right there. And, we took it out by about an extra 3 handles. And then we saw a rally up to 2873. So, I mean, it's a 14 handle rally, but that's off of the low. But I was targeting 2863 for the market to make a stand. And if you look at that, well, that was a 10 handle rally. That wasn't bad. But look how far we've fallen. Okay. Now, I thought, and obviously it wasn't that bad, but I mean, I thought we could make a stand at 2863. And I put in the chat room, hey, we could maybe even see, a rally back to, 22 handle rally, which would have taken us, around 2887. Okay. But before 2890. And that seemed plausible. And the market did try and make a stand there at the 2863. But if you think about how beat up this market, my thought was, okay, we can see a quick rally and then they'll sell into that. Maybe we'll even stretch a little bit more than the 22, and then they'll turn around and pounce on it. So we did get a 10 handle rally off of the 2863, and we actually bottomed it just a hair under 2860. So we saw, I guess you can say, a 14 handle rally. But here's the point. That's absolutely nothing. I mean, it's just nothing. And look, we're still leaning on there. And that's my concern. And what I want to get back to is China's already, kept saying, for months, it's not any kind of a slap on the back or something like that. I kept saying, pat on the back. I mean, I kept saying, there's not going to be a deal. There's not going to be a deal. People kept falling for it. And I kept saying, the boy cried wolf, and Trump over there saying, we're closed. Things are going well. They're buying the goods. They're buying the farmers' goods. Look, today, it's not about that. Although we didn't get the, I mean, I was on with Dale last week and I was saying, look, we'll all be dead in the grave by the time I go, there's not going to be a deal coming. And if we do get a deal, and maybe we'll all be dead in the grave by the time of, obviously a bit of an exaggeration, but that was my point. Well, with Trump throwing those tariffs on there, additional tariffs, that's it. It's game over. China's like, we're done. Sayonara, which is obviously Japanese, not Chinese, but anyway, but sayonara says goodbye. See ya. So here's the deal on that is like, okay, so China, they already let the yuan slip above that, the 7 level, which is huge, and Trump's over there complaining about it. But, and I'm going to lead into it because it's nothing about bashing the administration or I said this right away. It has nothing to do with that. Here's my concern. Them doing that, they basically, and I just saw on there, came across the wires that they're not even going to buy any more goods. They're done. A couple other things that what it was, but anyway, here's the deal. They're done, folks. That's it. So when in the chat this morning, I'm saying, hey, look, the market was trading, I think it's in the 75s or something like that. And I said, hey, look, I think we're going to get down to 2863. I can show you a level. There's like a little bit of a volume level there. I said, I think we can get to 2863, and I think the market's going to hold. We might even see a 22 handle rally. Well, we got there. We kind of held our own. We moved up a little bit, but I mean, that's like a spit. It's like it's like you're standing on one side of the football field and you're going to see how far you can spit. I mean, maybe you get off about 6 feet or 10 feet, maybe. But if you look at the length of the football field, what does it really matter? And that's my point here is I thought we might see a 22 handle rally. I thought they'd go on, turn around, and jump back on it, but we're not seeing anything. This is getting a little bit scary in the sense that we've already fallen a lot and we can press further. And I'll tell you what I'm referencing here is like Blake said this morning. Blake, him and I both last week were shorting well above the 9 here in the dollar yen, and I myself bailed out way too soon on my shorts, and Blake said the same thing. But I got to give massive props to Blake. When it was here on Friday, he stepped in and, like he himself said, quote unquote, went after it with a truckload, and we kept on sliding. He's covered, and he was making the point in Face Webinar saying, people say, well, if you covered, you must like it. You want to be long. And he's like, no, that doesn't mean I want to be long just because they covered. It's just not a good risk reward at this level. But here's the scary thing is we're not even lifting, folks. So yeah, this, one of the guys in the chat room, I don't know if it's Bierschman or whoever, said, yeah, I mean, maybe we'd go to 104. Heck yeah, at this point, it looks like we'd try and take out 105. So that's the concern here. And I think it's moving a lot of things. My point being is when we did the buy chart this morning, we were at this, let's take a look here on the euro. And we were here at 1128 this morning. And that's a pretty good level. You look at all these touches. Pretty good level, right? And we're at 1128. And I said, nope. I go, that's not a good area. I mean, that's not a good area. I go, I think we can make it up here to 1154. And there's that pink line. I said, yeah, I think we make it to 11. I mean, because this 1128 after the rally we've seen, that seemed like a logical area, not to turn around and head south, but, for some of us day traders, yeah, go and take it on there. We'll probably pull back to the maybe 1107, maybe 11, and we'll try. And I was like, no, wait for 1154. I even said here, I think, we're looking at 2-hour chart. I said, because there's 1168 there. Okay, let me, because I said, man, could he make it to 1168? I go, but I like that 1154. Actually, we had 1165. Okay. And I'll tell you what I'm trying to lead up to, because I think that's more important than to throw a bunch of figures at you. So when this market kept on advancing later on in the morning, I was talking about 1186. Potentially, we could even maybe scream up to 1218, on a stretch. But here's the deal: look at the euro. It's not even pairing back. And let's go and throw a fib on this. And I'll explain what I'm referring to. Okay, so here's a 38%. Okay, so look, 1128 looked pretty good, and some people probably said, yeah, I'm getting short 1128. We know the euro is the biggest dog in the world. Oh man, this is just, it's a gift. I mean, if we see your 1154, 1160, oh my, that I'm really gonna load up. And look at it, it keeps going. And what I was telling people is that, look, it didn't even pause at the 38%. It was still even going higher. I was talking about this 1218, and I really wasn't looking at the 50%, although Amanda in the chat room said, hey, I think that's where the 50% is. I go, I think you're right, around there. But I was looking at where I thought it could go. Where I always tell people say, where do you put, why do you put don't you put your support and resistance at the high and the low? I'm like, no. How many people bought the low and how many people sold the high? I do it where the most volume is. You see what I'm saying? And this isn't like a 5-minute chart, folks. This is a 2-hour chart. So you see all these touches, all this volume here, coming here where the market is, it rallies off of that, then it comes back, and now it's support. It falls below it, now it's resistance. They fight here, then they go higher. They come back. Where do they find support? Right here at this 1219. So that's what I was coming up with it. But she's right. It happens to be the 50%. But I was telling people this just a little while ago in the chat room, I go, hey, look, it's not paring back. This market's going to continue to move higher because anybody that's short from 1150 or lower, really, and unless they have a lot of cash in the pocket, they're getting squeezed here. And the market is the shorts already know. Not the shorts, but I mean the market knows these people. Let put it to you this way. Let's say that they wanted to go on and someone wanted to short right now. And they're like, man, I just hope I can get to 112. Well, the person has a little bit of experience just saying, why the hell am I going to short at 112 at this time of the day? We've already gone past the London fix. If the market wanted to react, it would have reacted. I already know that there's Bob and Jenny and Sue and Jill and Ted. They're all short. And they're short from down here. Oh, I think, wait a minute. I think Ted came in right here. They're all underwater. They're probably going to be forced to cover. I mean, I'm flat right now. So why do I come in? Why don't I just wait till Ted and maybe Sarah and Jeff go on and cover? They'll push up the market and I'll get a better fill. That's what I'm saying. The market doesn't have any incentive to pare back now. And it already knows that there's people with their with, you know, getting their whatever's crunched in. And where's their uncle point? I mean, is it 1205? Is it 1208? Is it 1219? So, but here it is. One thing I was going to say is, I don't think that the market's playing any funny games with anybody, even though it knows like it's got the shorts under some decent pressure. The part that's a little bit concerning is this is a bit of a game changer here with the swan breaking. And, you know, FX Macro made a good point. He's already made it twice this morning, is that back in 2015, when that happened, the euro rallied seven full figs. And I remember when that happened. And it's not that I don't think that that's going to happen right now, but here's my concern on this. We got the dollar index. And like I said, today is not so much about the levels, because I think this is more important than just giving you some levels. Because, you know, the thing is, you got to have, if you lose your wad, then you don't have any way to go in and trade. You see, my point being is that if you bet the farm on one thing, or you come in too soon, eventually when the market does peter out, then you're like, oh my God, well, I don't have any more money. I don't have any more money to play in the game. You know what I mean? So what we had here is we had a pretty good little fake out to a certain extent with the dollar index. We'd even talked about that potentially it could have happened that day, and it did. But I'm saying I thought we would reverse that day, and well, forgive the market credit, it still held up. But we're seeing the market, so technically, we're seeing the market break down. Now, one of the things you always see in trading is you know, it's always better to have the technicals going for you, because you know you can define your risk. Fundamentals are good, but the problem is that the market can go a long time before reacting to the fundamentals, and so forth and so forth. But the best trades are the ones which you have the technicals and the fundamentals lined up. Well, you know, you got the technicals going this direction. I mean, now we're sliding back. We've even slid back below the 97.89, that's where we're at this morning when we came on the webinar. And I said, hey, watch this 97.65. I think I ended up pushing it below, and I go, boy, this 58's looking really good. And I've got a stretch here right here at 43. Okay, it's actually now it's even low. I did have a 43, but actually this level comes in at 37. But here's the deal. When you see something that changes materially, and I'll show you how Blake did really well. So if you look at the yen, him and I both were shorting the yen up in here. Remember, I had that conversation with Dale. I thought they were going to make it up to 927, and we did. We made it up to 931. We saw the market come down. But Blake, even though Blake had left, you know, Blake had done well in other periods, but Blake had left just like me, you know, missed a lot of this whole move, even though we had actually shorted right there at the top. Because like I said, these markets quickly take your gains away. But he was saying this morning, hey, we're going to have to adjust because these markets are starting to, you know, we're starting to see wider ranges. But props to Blake is that I myself shorted on Friday, but I didn't hang on. I'm just saying, but Blake not only hung on, but loaded up the truck. And we did fall. Now, obviously not this big fall, but loading up the truck, he did really well. But here's the thing is, today's bias chart support was for 595 on the dollar yen. We got a little bit of a bounce, but not much of a bounce. And look, we're already leaning back down again. So the thing with the Chinese yuan, and look here, now we're at 1204 now in the euro. That's a game changer in the sense that I think, and I mentioned this in the chat room, and that's why I think you should go and take advantage of the, you know, get a try with the ForexAnalytix. The chat room is, man, we got a lot of great support in there around all the different traders, different styles, traders, scalpers, medium-term traders, swing traders. Amanda's like, you know, freaking awesome as far as a swing trader. She holds on to her trades for a long time, builds up on them. But here's the deal is that, you know, we were talking, I said, hey, look, I go, you know, this is, I told them, I think that the market is digesting. And when I said digest, you'll see a market reaches a new technical level. It digests the gains or digests the losses. But I said, it's a little bit different now. And I go, we've come to these levels here. Let me go in here, i.e., let's say the euro. And we're not even getting a reaction. I mean, you're not even seeing a pullback. It's just one steady train higher. But I don't think that it's the market that's saying, oh man, we're in a massive, great, the euro is really to take off to Venus and it's all about the euro, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that's it. I think that the market is legitimately digesting in the sense that it's trying to figure out, where do we go from here? Like, how much of an impact is this yuan taking out the 7 level? Then you combine that with the S&P selling off. The Chinese already announced just a little while ago, they're not buying no U.S. farmer goods. No, I think I'd have to go over the headline for you. But anyway, that's done. How much is this? Do we to get to a point? Let's go through on the S&Ps. And I'm not a doom and gloomer, okay? But the point is we're not even picking up. Look at that. Now we're 28.50. Like I told you, I was looking for 28.63 this morning. And we actually just took it out by 3 pips and we saw a rally off of the lows 14. Before I was saying I thought we'd settle in 10 handle rally. But I was thinking we'd see a 22 handle rally, which wasn't even going to be that much. Look at it. It's simply not, we're not getting a bounce. So anybody that tried to pick it up and defend, I hope they took their profits. Because if they didn't, now they're in the red. And then there's going to be other people that said, you know what, I'm going to lean on them. How much further do we go? And that's what I'm saying, is it's not just the S&P, which obviously the dollar connect. Generally, the dollar, when you see the S&P sell off, you go into the safety of the dollar. The dollar's going the opposite way, folks. And I don't think it's all about the euro, because we know the Eurozone area is in terrible shape, but it's still going bid. Now, it's not going bid in chunks. So that's the scary part. This reminds me of the analogy of the frog in the boiling water. And that's what spooked me. I was going to go in short at 11.86 with an out of 12.18. And I tell the guys, I was like, you know what? It seems like it's just digesting. You're just not, anyone that's traded for a long time or is used to day trading, maybe even scalping, you can tell the way these markets will react. Each market has their own personality. But you see how now we're moving higher? If we would jumped into it like this morning, if we'd have taken out 12 and jumped into this real fast, I'd have been all over this, thinking, okay, now we're going to slide back, just day trade / scalping. We're just going higher and a little bit higher. But remember, I told the guys in the chat room, guys and gals here, hey, look, I go, they're just, these people that are under 11.50, they're all underwater, and they're going to be paying the shorts up, paying up on their shorts. But the thing that worries me is it's not going in chunks. And now I expect that this is probably the normal activity late in the afternoon as we just keep going a little bit higher. But my concern is it doesn't blow. To me, it has the analogy of the frog in the boiling water. And that's what's got me a little bit concerned, because I think the market, you could maybe see this thing just rip up higher. As some other people say, yeah, I'll just go with the technicals, or we hit some system levels, or we get past the 50% and we rip up on here. So my concern, my word is, or what I'm offering is, be careful. Now, here's another reason why I thought the S&P was going to hold at 1263, because look at the peso. Now, when the S&P is under trouble, we already seen the dollar peso, and let me get to that here. We've been talking about that 1923.6 for a long time. Last time I joke around, we've been talking about that level since Moses crossed the desert. And you can see how well it held up. And when we got above it, boy, did it go zooming like crazy with the whole thing about the tariffs against Mexico. But even when the finance minister resigned, we got up there, but we couldn't get a close above 1923.6. So we kept languishing, and we'd visit. So here's my take here, is when we got this morning, when I did the analysis from Asia on the yesterday, I was looking for 1956, okay? And when a little bit earlier, I noticed that the peso got up to 1960, but it was having some trouble. It was having some trouble starting to pay back and go, oh, we're getting a little bit of divergence. That give me some resolve that this S&P 1928.63 is going to hold. And initially, for the most part, it kind of held from a scalper standpoint. I mean, we took it out by 3 handles, but we rallied 14 handles off the low, 10 handles from the 28.63. But look, we didn't get nothing of a bounce. And look, now we're starting to slide. And look at the peso. Now it's moving higher. I think, like I said, these marks are like, whoa, what are we into? Are we into, and what I referred to in the chat room, I think we're into a new dynamic. And like I said, this might be one of those times that you want to keep your ammo loaded. Let the market, like I told Dale the other day, let the market do the heavy lifting, or let the market do the work. This is definitely not the time to be a hero, okay? Look, if we get to certain levels and the market wants to react, there'll be enough money to be made, i.e., let's see the euro, okay? Let's say that the euro stops at 12.25 and we finally start to see a reaction. Well, look at the bounce we've already had, okay? Let's say we get to 12.25, okay? Even if we just come back to 11.40, you're talking 80 pips. You see what I'm saying? There's enough time to jump in, let the market do the action. Because I've been in situations, I remember one time, I think it was, I don't even know if it was Draghi. I think it was, what's his name before Draghi. And the euro, I'm trying to think, it was like at 125. And I forgot. Oh no, it happened around like 4 o'clock in the afternoon Central Standard Time. One of the Fed governors said something. I don't remember what it was, and I don't think it was. I think it was the Fed head, but he said something, and the euro went from 125 up to one. I think it was almost 131, if I remember correctly. I thought I came in a little bit late, and I happened to come in, and the euro was already up 280 pips or something like that. 200. I thought I was, man, like, oh man, I bought there. I added 3 something. I added again at 4 something. Well, I tell you what, after all that stuff, after 2 days, I think I was able to close out of all of it for a gain of maybe altogether 50 pips or something, because obviously other parts I was well below underwater. But I'm saying is don't rush into it. So that's the one thing I want to impart to you is, like I said, this whole yuan thing, it's a little bit of a game changer here, or maybe more than a game changer. And look at these S&Ps. There's no let up. It's not letting up at all. It's just falling and it just keeps sliding and sliding. So, and you can see here the peso still pushing up higher now. And so you have people that have taken shorts, and same thing with the euro. And we may end up riding the back of this rally on those same shorts. So be careful. So once again, like I said, to me, what I'd be focusing on is Asia's going to be hopping tonight, folks. It's going to be hopping. I think so. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with the S&P, because even if the S&P takes another bath, obviously Asia's going to be where you want to be at, man. We are going to see some huge moves. So far in the dollar yen, we haven't seen a reaction here. So this just might be a lot of longs that are just going to get clocked out. But let's see. But that's what I've got to share with you today. I hope that was helpful. We did hit a couple of levels, but once again, exercise some caution and stand back from the computer. I mean, literally, like, one time I was reading the old Market Wizard book, and the guy goes, how can you tell where a market's going to go to or something? And he was talking about an interview or some guy, and the guy said, let me show you how. So he jumped on his desk and he threw the chart book on the floor, and he goes, that's how you figure it out. Meaning he backed away and got a more macro perspective. Well, I don't think we have to do that necessarily here with the euro. But my point is, we have so many different dynamics working on with the yuan. That's going to, the whole yuan, the 7 level. The S&P is breaking lower and lower. We've got the situation with China because the tariffs, that's all gone sideways. That's gone sideways on Trump. There's no way to get around that. He messed things up. It's even worse than it was before. I saw his tweet about, well, now, I mean, it's like he doesn't want to admit that he messed it up. So now he says, well, this should have been fixed years ago. So, okay, you broke it, but now it's somebody else's fault now. So there's too many dynamics right now, and I legitimately think that the market's trying to figure out what's it going to do with these dynamics and how far can we push up. So once again, like I said, I think, trade prudently. You don't have to make all the money in one trade, because I think, guess what? I think that FX volatility is coming back, and it may be coming back in a big way. So that's all we got today. Thanks for joining us here on the European Crossover.